What's up, guys? This is Brady from Nat&Brad, and a month ago I was able to secure a Nintendo Switch 2 on launch, and I've played nothing but that system for an entire month, and I am here with my honest thoughts. Let's go. The Nintendo Switch 2 offers many cool features and upgrades over the last generation, such as the party chat system. I have used the party chat system off and on with friends and family since the launch, and overall I find it very cool. I am honestly in love with how you are able to stream to other people in your party and vice versa, so everyone knows what's going on in each other's game. I feel like it adds a level of connection when you play, kind of reminiscent to the good old days of couch co op, even though you are not with your loved ones in person. But in this new digital age, I guess that's the way it goes. That's about as close as you're going to get to couch co op without having, your friends and family actually coming over and hanging out with you at your place, or vice versa. Now, as cool as it is, there is a problem, at least in my case. Most of the people that I play games with use other systems, such as an Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Therefore, I have to adapt to what they are using, which is Discord. It's super cool that Nintendo finally added a party chat system, but it seems like they're just a little too late to the party on this one. Cool nonetheless, but still just a little bit late to the party. One thing that they added for the Switch 2 is HDR support, a display that supports up to 120 Hz frame rate and a native 4K resolution. I'm loving these options for enhancing the visuals for the system. Honestly, real talk, I never thought I'd see the day when Nintendo would have native 4K or a native 4K option available for its system. Now that's actually pretty cool. Now, even though the Switch 2 is able to hit up to 120 frames, I'm not sure if we actually have any games at this time that can hit those frame rates just yet. So far, all that we know is that Metroid Prime 4 will have a 120 frame optimization mode and or a performance mode, but it will be at full HD, which is 1080p, and like I said, it'll target 120 frames. There is also another mode which I'm assuming they are going to call resolution mode, which is going to target 4K at 60 frames. I'm hoping that we see more games with high frame rates, but all of that will depend on the individual developers and what they want to set their games at. Well, speaking of games, let's talk about how good games are looking on this system in general. I am super excited that we have a new Mario Kart after all this time. This Mario Kart is actually what I have wanted in a Mario Kart game for a while now. I used to always think about it when I was younger playing the previous games. I was like, what if we actually had a Mario Kart game that was open world and we could see everything that the Mario universe has to offer? And I feel like we are finally getting that with this game, which is really, really cool. I've been playing this game since the launch of the system and it still has not gotten old yet. Mario Kart is one of those IPs that I have a ton of nostalgia with, and I always will enjoy these games. I used to play Mario Kart 64 with my grandfather when I was little. Of course, we never really went crazy on that game. We would always just play the Mushroom Cup, I guess because it was simple. I am also super happy with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 enhancements. I feel like we are finally experiencing these games the way that they were meant to be experienced. The stable 60 frame performance and cleaner graphics are an amazing touch. Even though I beat these games, I will definitely be replaying them from start to finish now that we finally have the performance that these games should have always had. Now, speaking of performance, I have to say that Cyberpunk 2077 being added to the Nintendo Switch 2 turned a lot of heads, including mine. I still can't believe that this game launched on the system. if I'm going to be completely honest, when it was announced, I was very skeptical. I remember thinking to myself, how in the world are they going to get this game to run on a Nintendo handheld console hybrid? Because as you know, when this game first came out on other platforms, console side especially, it was horrible. It was horrible. And the raw power of the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't even match the power of the consoles that Cyberpunk 2077 originally came out for in power. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be an absolute disaster. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to get this game. Well, I have to say that I took the gamble. I got Cyberpunk 2077, and I am still shocked that it runs as well as it does on the Switch 2. You have two optimization modes: performance, which tries to target a stable 45 frames, and resolution, which is a locked 30 frames. And even though there's frame rate drops, the power of the Switch 2 actually still kind of shows here. The fact that we are even able to play this game still blows my mind. So I'm doing a full playthrough on the Switch 2, and I'll probably have more on that in the future. But I think it's a really good test for the Switch 2 in general. And it's honestly, it was a great game to kind of show off what the Switch 2 was capable of. So good on Nintendo and CD Projekt Red on that one. Now, I've also tested many Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, and I think it's needless to say that it's a better experience in general. Some games received updates that made them better on the Switch 2 without calling them official Switch 2 versions. Some of my favorites being Super Mario Odyssey and Hyrule Warriors. These games are beautiful on the Switch 2, and I'm having an absolute blast with them. Hyrule Warriors runs at a stable frame rate. Finally! That's huge considering on the Switch 1, that was definitely not the case. Holy cow. But there are a ton of games that did not receive any enhancement updates, but are still worth going back to revisit, in my opinion, or playing if you never played them before. A few examples that I have of this would be a couple of my favorite Switch games, being Fire Emblem Three Houses and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Though they have no official enhancements, they are still better due to the faster loading times because of the components that the Switch 2 has, being a faster storage drive compared to the Switch 1 and triple the amount of RAM. So therefore, it's able to load these games much quicker. I would say overall, the very painful loading times have been drastically reduced in these games and many others. Overall, I think the Nintendo Switch 2 is a solid upgrade from the last generation. I've heard some people refer to it as more of a Switch Pro, which is not the most inaccurate description I've heard. I mean, I kind of get that vibe too sometimes, where it's kind of like a Switch 1 Pro with, I mean, obviously it's going to have its own games. But nonetheless, I am pretty excited to see what the future holds for this system. I think it's going to be pretty successful if you can, get past the $450+ price point. In my opinion, it's worth it. But then again, one thing you have to know about me is I pretty much only play Nintendo. So, yeah. Honestly, for those of you who are watching this video that were on the fence of getting this system, I really hope that this helped you guys out. So there you have it, folks. That is my take on the Nintendo Switch 2 1 month after launch. If you liked the video, please give me a like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like the video, feel free to dislike it. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.